I want to talk right now. This Tim talk. Um, this Tim talk is about picking fruit, and particularly, I'm going to call it our cherry tree. I have a tree in my front yard, and remember, I garden for wildlife. And this cherry tree, I've talked to it for years. It's like an old growth cherry tree that's 20 years old. It is massive, and it fruits like crazy. And you know, cherries, come on. Does it get any better than that, a ripe cherry from a tree? Now, I grew up in a place called Sunnyvale, which now is the Silicon Valley, but when I grew up there, it was all orchards. So I was a kid. I grew up in orchards with fruit, fresh fruit. One of the great gifts nature ever offered. Fresh fruit. Come on, trees give us that. Well, this cherry tree in our front yard, it's astounding. And every year, right around the end of June, beginning of July, the cherries come ripe, and it is amazing. For last week, 2 weeks, I've had kids in my school out there on a ladder, climbing the tree, picking cherries. We've been serving them to our classes every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I watch them, and I go, there is no better way to find joy in nature than picking fruit, climbing up a tree and picking it, eating some while you're picking, giving some to your community. And always we leave a percentage for the birds. Right now we have a nest of baby robins who are living off these cherries, and they nested right on our garage, and countless other animals come and eat the cherries. So I always, in gardening for wildlife, leave a percentage for the birds. I don't think of them as my enemy. I don't look at the birds when they're up eating the cherries like, give them to me. And I get my share too. Works out pretty good. We have an apricot tree the same way. Last year, they all became ripe at the same time. We picked like 3/4 for ourselves. And then a squirrel came in, or a bunch of squirrels the next day, and ate the rest. I would have preferred those squirrels to leave me a little more, because I love apricots because I grew up on them. And they're so hard to get a good apricot in a grocery store. Wouldn't you agree? But that's how it was. The wildlife shares the garden. But that cherry tree, I could teach kids for weeks in the school how to connect with nature. And that cherry tree does it in an hour, just letting them climb the tree and pick. So ho to the cherry tree. Ho to fruit trees. Ho to trees that grow fruit. Ho to all the idea of fruit. And one more thing I'll say, when you eat that cherry, and this could be true with any food you eat, but when you eat that cherry, chew it and feel it with all your senses. Let your tongue and your taste buds revere it. Smell it. Look at it with your eyes at the beauty of it. Feel the texture of it. Listen to the tree as the wind blows through the leaves. Get your senses involved. Think of it as a miracle, because it is. If you want to know what a miracle is, it's a cherry tree full of cherries. Or it's an apricot tree full of apricots. Or to many birds, it's a pine tree full of pine nuts. And pick those cherries and eat them and appreciate every bite. Just go, chew them up. And think of them as medicine, earth medicine, earth medicine. And swallow it, feel it go down, and think of it as growing your body and your being and nurturing you. Sacred. And that's how you take food to a higher level. Okay? And then another thing you can do, that I do, is a lot of the cherry seeds fall and birds eat them and the seeds get in the ground and they grow up. So I let all the little cherry trees grow up. And sometimes we'll dig them up very carefully and put them in a pot, and we'll give them to students to take home and have them and grow them in their house. We spread it around. Man, just to sum up here, over the years, that cherry tree has been such a huge part of our school. One tree comes up with its cherries right at the time when everybody comes. What a gift. And then, maybe the next Tim Talk I do will be on our apple trees. Ho.